Good morning. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us once again here on Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250. And for those of you who watch us via Facebook and on YouTube, thank you very much for consistently supporting the program and for being subscribers of Cignal TV. Today is March 17, 2023. It's a Friday, and let's not just be thankful that it's a Friday. Let us be thankful that we have had a full week from Monday to today, and that we are all healthy. We have jobs, we have family. Whatever you have, be thankful for. It may not be a complete plate. It may not be everything you want it to be, but there is more reason to be thankful for, and I do hope you have gratitude in your heart. Okay, let's get on with our program with our daily starter. And it is from the book of Proverbs chapter 9, verses 8 to 9. Listen up, because ito po, this is also a lesson for managers, for executives, for parents, even dabarkads, and for mentors. Chapter 9 of the book of Proverbs, verses 8 to 9 says, "Do not correct a scoffer, or he will hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." Okay, ano po ba ito? Because there are many of us who earnestly want to help other people improve their lives, become better performers, become better persons, and we try to give them correction, training, we try to teach them or tell them what they are doing wrong, etc. But there is a certain type of character, and I have encountered these people often or on a regular basis, people who do not have a teachable heart. People who, as the Bible called them, scoffers, kumbaga, iniisnab, binabaliwala. Hindi kayo pinapansin. Yung iba nga, binabastos pa when we try to correct them, when we try to point out their mistakes, especially some of the bosses or executives, when you try to explain a point to them and they say it's either my way or the highway. And these are the people that do not have a teachable heart, who have ears na puro na lang bara, okay, who do not listen, and you're wasting your time, okay? That is wisdom from the Bible. You are wasting your time because we try to teach them, and at the end of the day, we just get pissed, we get frustrated, we get annoyed. And the Bible is saying, kung magtuturo ka at gagamitin mo yung panahon mo, teach people with teachable hearts. Teach people with humility. Teach people who have wisdom to listen, who know better. Okay, hindi na po. Huwag na natin pahabain. Baka sabihin nyo, kuyang naman, Friday, nagpre-preaching ka. No, it's just so near and dear to me, because when you love people, when you care for people, and they don't listen, it can really be frustrating, and it's a trap of the devil. By annoying you, frustrating you, you end up in the same ball court as the person you're trying to correct. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Today, March 17, 2023, it's a Friday, and, okay, the headline goes, President Bongbong Marcos on 20 peso per kilo rice campaign promise. We're almost there. Halos nandun na tayo, malapit na, konti na lang. Okay. The government is inching toward its goal of lowering the price of rice to 20 pesos per kilo. President Marcos said yesterday as he vowed to sustain measures aimed at ensuring access to affordable goods. Speaking during the launch of the Kadiwa ng Pangulo program in Pili, Camarines Sur, Marcos said the government is shouldering the hidden costs in transportation of farmers' products so that this could be sold to consumers at lower prices. Ayun po yun. Ganun kasimple. The government is paying for transportation costs. There are no middlemen, etc., etc. And because of that, the price will continue to go down. So, may explanation. Okay. At the top of the front page, Speaker rejects Teves 2-month leave request. Okay. House Speaker Martin Romualdez has rejected the request of Congressman Arnulfo Teves to be given a 2-month leave from Congress. Okay, medyo napapag-usapan na po yan eh. Parang ano ba ito? Pampapogi for some people para lumabas na may ginagawa sila regarding the case. I don't know, but it's beginning to become ridiculous. Either that the person comes back to the Philippines or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, then put out, sabi nga nila sa TV, put out an APB on him. Okay. Anyway, people involved in hazing will rot in jail. Ito naman, from Speaker of the House to Senate President Miguel Zubiri has declared that the people who were involved in this violent hazing raids will possibly be facing the full force of the law and rotting in jail. Medyo exaggerated kasi there have been previous cases of hazing na nakulong yung mga parties involved. Malaya na sila. They are now back to their normal lives because the reality is life sentence in the Philippines, I believe, is 40. Okay? And if you were jailed at 20, you will be out at 60. Okay? So, hindi po yan rot in jail unless somebody decides to knife you in jail. Okay. Meanwhile, photo from the Philippine Information Agency shows supporters by the roadside as the remains of slain Governor Roel Digamo were brought to his final resting place in Bonawon, Shaton, Negros Oriental yesterday. Ayun po, nilibing na po ang late Governor Roel Digamo at yung kanya pong mga salarin hinahunting pa rin. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Internal Revenue files charges versus ghost firms selling fake receipts. Okay, the BIR, after a raid last December 2022, discovered 4 companies who were selling fake receipts. And the bad thing about this is they're called ghost firms because they're not real companies. They're only companies on paper, and their only business is to sell fake receipts. Yan po, meron nga tayong viewer, kaibigan kong si Wilson, na nagko-complain regarding online sellers who do not issue receipts. So yan po. We will try to get the commissioner of the BIR to join us on the program. Meanwhile, the politicians of Camarines Sur, okay, with President Bongbong Marcos as they lower, I believe, a time capsule and pour in the foundation, symbolic foundation for Camarines Sur's Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino Housing Program in Panganiban, Naga City. Ayan po, okay. In the same occasion or day, President Marcos was also named adopted son of Camarines Sur. Okay. And then the Coast Guard expects wider oil spill area. Okay, because according to the Philippine Coast Guard, the oil stored in the tanks of the MT Princess Empress has not completely leaked out. Marami pang natitira. And if we are unlucky or it is not controlled, the oil spill area is going to get wider than it already is. Okay. And good news for the Philippines. Vatican or Rome declares Antipolo Cathedral international shrine. The Vatican has declared the National Shrine of Our Lady of Peace and Good Voyage, popularly known as the Antipolo Cathedral, as an international shrine. It's official. We are now elevated into an international shrine, according to an article posted on the CBCP's website. Okay, ayun po. So there you see the photos of the Antipolo Shrine. Last but not least, Changi regains best airport crown. Okay? Philippines not in the top 100 list. Kayo naman, meron tayong mga terminals. Okay? Wala tayong sasabihin mo by international standards. Talagang competitive na tayo. But anyway, let me just read the news. Baka mamaya may maasar na naman sa akin. Okay, Singapore, the Philippines airport failed to make it to the top 100 list of the world's best airports for this year. According to the 2023 World Airport Survey research firm Skytrack, okay? Singapore's Changi Airport is this year's best airport, followed by last year's best airport, the Doha Hamad. Trailing Changi and Doha Hamad airports were Tokyo Haneda, Seoul's Incheon, and Paris Charles de Gaulle. Rounding up the top 10 airports in the world are Istanbul, Munich, Zurich, Tokyo's Narita, and Madrid's Barajas. Yan po ang balita for today. And Gabriel, are we going to go straight to the interview? Okay, we will go straight to the interview. Let's roll out the Betamax.
Marco Qua is the president of Sikat Araw Trading Corporation, which handles cold storage seafood, a known frozen seafood brand in the country. Prior to being president, the Ateneo de Manila alumnus served as general manager in the said company.
Okay, I have a habit of asking friends to give me suggestions for topics and guests. And when my friend Sunny Ku mentioned the term cold storage, sabi ko, ano ba, Sunny? Ang kailangan ko personality or mga business or issue. Hindi ko kailangan ng ice plant. And sabi niya, Kuya, hindi sila ice plant. International firm na sila. Okay, Marco, welcome to the program.
Hi, Cito. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, that was a real story. That was the God honest truth, you know, when our friend Sunny Ku mentioned, Kuya, why don't you consider cold storage? Sabi ko, ano bang ipipicture ko sa ice plant? Oh, mga bawang at saka mga sibuyas. Okay, but Marco, thank you for joining us. Now, I understand you're out of town, out of the country.
Yes, I'm actually in New York right now. I came from Boston. I just attended a Boston Seafood convention. So yeah, I'm still in New York right now.
Okay, well, I miss those days. I miss my Boston lobster. So anyway,
Ooh.
Okay, so you're now in New York, and okay, could you do us the favor of clarifying this cold storage thing? Because I mean, you have to admit, cold storage for people of my age, ice plant ang iniisip namin. And in current media terms, they think in terms of imbakan ng mga bawang at sibuyas. But why the name cold storage and how did it all begin?
Actually, it all started around 1995 when my dad had his vacation in Singapore with my mom. I think they were inspired by the supermarkets there. So one of the things that they saw was how good the selections from abroad were compared to what we had here in the Philippines. So actually, when they saw that, hey, outside of the Philippines, people were already doing frozen seafood, ganyan. In the Philippines, at that time, we still didn't have frozen seafood. Eh. So he figured parang, oh, how do you store frozen seafood? You need cold storage. Because before, back then, we were exporters. So we had cold storage warehouses. Diba? So parang my dad said, okay, very traditional. He said, okay, let's just call it cold storage. And then we opened the first store in Banawe around 1996, August.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's what happened. So that's what we came up with cold storage.
Okay, so your family, your father has always operated.
Excuse me.
Marco?
Yes. Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your father has always operated a cold storage facility. Was that your first family business?
Our first family business was exporting shrimps to Japan. So we had cold storage facilities, freezing facilities, and basically the full processing area. So we process shrimps, and so we export. Back in the 80s, it was a big industry. Yeah.
Yeah, the prawn industry, the prawn export industry, where Negros and Iloilo,
Yes.
all of that area were, they
Bacolod.
were the capital of prawn farms and buying stations.
Yes, that is why we still have our Bacolod factory and Cebu even until now. Yeah.
So, are you guys originally from the south, from the Visayas, or Manila na nagtayo lang ng business in the province?
No, we're from Manila. So my dad just built the plant in Bacolod and Cebu during the 80s. Yeah.
Okay, so they were inspired during a trip to Singapore, but it's not that simple shifting from exporter to importer. Was it out of necessity? Was your father one of those wise, wisdom-filled guys na, okay, looking at the horizon, teka, mukhang tatamaan tayo ng shrimp virus, lumipat na tayo sa import?
It's amazing that you know about the shrimp virus that affected the shrimp industry. Actually, me and my dad, we were talking about the history we talk a lot about it. My dad basically said, parang we were exporting our shrimps all over the world, from the US, Europe, especially Japan, right? So we were saying, hey, we are exporting. Back then, Philippine shrimp was, one of the best shrimps in the world. Eh? So my dad said, hey, why are we exporting the best the Philippines has to offer? So right now, my dad said, why not bring in the best the world has to offer to the Philippines? Diba? Parang we export the best we have, might as well bring in the best the world has for the Filipinos. Parang ganon.
Okay. I like your dad. I really like that attitude because totoo naman we have exported our lobster, exported our tiger prawns, we have exported our crabs, etc. And then when we go to the restaurants here, ang papayat ng mga seafood, etc. So, okay, so your dad had this great vision that was pro-Filipino, at least for the people who love to eat. So, was it an easy transition?
Actually, it was a bit. At first, it was a struggle because back then people didn't know. For example, we were the pioneers in the frozen seafood in the Philippines. So people didn't know what halibut were, or parang salmon was very parang expensive fish. So So my dad was bringing in salmon, halibut, black cod, all these imported seafood, and people were like, yeah, okay. We had a very niche market because the ones who appreciated these types of products were the persons who frequently go abroad during summer. And they were able to enjoy these seafood when they're traveling. So my dad said, okay, why are we only able to enjoy these seafood when we travel? Why not be able to enjoy it at home? So at first it was a bit of a struggle, but maybe in the long run, especially now, well, lately it's been easier. At least people were starting to appreciate seafood from other countries as well.
Okay, is your dad one of those guys who just jump in without a parachute? Kasi, what you shared is so true. Magbebenta ka ng halibut, black cod. I'm sure the Chinese community must have been scratching their heads. Wala, si Tauke. Tapos na si Tauke. Goodbye na yan.
Actually, my dad was more of, because we were exporting our prawns to a lot of, they were big corporations. So we talked to them a lot, and they were saying they were trading all these fish. They were trading salmon from Norway or Chile. They were bringing it into Japan. They were bringing it to Hong Kong because these are multinational companies. So my dad said, okay, what are the fishes that you trade? I mean, we know you get your shrimps from us. What other fish do you get from other parts of the world? And how does it work in your country? For example, in Japan, how do you sell your salmon? So my dad would travel with us for summer vacations. We'd go to Japan, we'd visit supermarkets, and then we'd see, Oy, oh nga, so this is how it's done. So basically, that's how the idea came up.
Is your dad still around?
Yeah.
I would love to meet the guy kasi, he's one smart dude. He takes you on vacation, or at least you think you're going on vacation when it is a market study.
Of course. Yeah, in Chinese, it's never just vacation. It always is part work.
Okay. But how young were you when you were introduced to this or exposed to this? Parang, teka, this is no longer, just stuff my father does. He's actually setting me up to training. When did you come to realize it? At what age?
Actually, even maybe around 8, 9, 10. I remember me and my brother would go to our Bacolod factory. We would observe the workers. Back then, I would even know what contact freezing means, block frozen the shrimps, because we would export them. And then, as young as I was, I think I was 8 or 9, I would grab random shrimps and ask the sizers, hey, what size is this shrimp? Just to test them. And they say, oh, that's size 10, that's size 11, that's size 12. And I'm like, okay. So at an early age, we were exposed to the seafood trade already. But for the importing, I think we started around 1996. So I was around 14, 15 back then. So I remember me and my brother would go to the store for Christmas and summer vacations. And then we'd open the store, and on Christmases, with me and my brother would compete who had bigger sales, the Banawe store or the Green Hills store. So even at an early age, we were already exposed to the ins and outs of the business and the industry.
Did your father make it fun? Because, the competition is fun, but it's still work. Yeah. And at that age, parang, teka, I should be out with my friends playing tennis, basketball, or going on tours. Why am I here in Banawe or in Green Hills selling hipon?
Actually, it was more of if you do this work, you're rewarded you can go out with your friends on the weekends.
Aha.
So we get paid by being allowed to go out on weekends.
your good behavior in the store will get you paroled for the weekend. Meron kang liberty pass for
Yes.
the weekend. Parang pala kayong US Navy,
Yes,
ano?
yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you got exposure at the age of 8 or 9. By age 14, 15, you were already involved in the process. But were you at that age just sellers, or had your father already taught you at that age? Okay, you need to watch inventory, stock. You need to do the accounting, etc. Or was that left to someone else?
Inside the store, we would be in charge of ordering for the store. Basically, we are managers, but of course, we're not completely in charge. There is someone there who's, guiding us. So me and my brother would be like, "Oh, why are we doing this?" And then we talk to customers,
Mhm.
especially during the start. During the start, we would talk to customers. We'd learn, for example, how do you cook this fish? How do you prepare this fish? Because let's face it, we don't know everything. So it's nice that, hey, the information goes both ways. We learn from our customers as well, diba?
Mhm. Yeah.
So everything basically, it's nice because it being in store gives you a holistic approach to how the business is being run.
Okay. So that was your childhood experience, but what made you realize, hey, I want to get into this?
To be honest, the whole cold storage seafood, the whole importing retail was a bit of a small sideline business for our company. Our main business was still exporting. So back
Okay.
then, me and my brother would say, "Hey, this is a nice thing that we're doing during summers or during Christmas." And then after college, I said, "Hey, you know what? There's so much potential in this business. Maybe we can grow this. And besides, the whole exporting thing, people don't know what you're doing. Like if I talk to my friends, oh, do you know our company? No, nobody knows your company because
Mhm.
you're exporting it. It's something that's very um,
Philippine
I like to
presence.
call it,
Yeah, Philippine presence
yes,
does not make you a local celebrity, as they say.
of course, yeah.
Okay.
But then
I
I
mean,
said with the retail, I feel like there's so much potential. Like, hey, we can actually bring in so much more. Like when we travel, we we enjoy Chilean sea bass, we enjoy
oh.
U.S. scallops, we enjoy halibut, we enjoy unagi. Let's bring them all in, and then so slowly, I said, "There's too much potential." I asked my dad, and my dad said, "Okay, you go to the factory, you work with the returns." So I ended up sorting through whatever the store could not sell, the supermarkets could not sell, and I would sort through them in the factory and say, "Okay, so why is this product not selling?" Parang ganun. Mm-mm.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's be clear. Medyo, pasensya ka na. I was
Yeah.
medyo confused. Kasi kanina, when you were
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
people didn't know your company, what
Mm-mm.
I was trying to say is because you are an exporter, your presence is felt abroad, not locally. And if you are not
Mm-mm.
felt or seen locally, hindi ka celebrity or kilala sa
Mm-mm.
Pilipinas. Now,
Mm-mm.
when you wanted to expand the business or make it into a real business compared to your exports,
Mm-mm.
you were sent to the returns
Of,
section. Yung mga hindi na
of course.
benta, overstock, etc. or
Mm-mm.
whatever. Okay, that's like me making tambay in the service center of Solid Industries or of Sony na tinitingnan ko ano yung
Yeah.
products na nagmo-move, ano yung products na hindi nagmo-move, ano yung product na may problema. But what did you discover?
Actually, what made me realize was that a lot of products, they were good naman eh. The problem is we weren't understanding what the consumer needed. Because of course, for example, for a mature market like Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or Singapore, it's easy. You put salmon, people already know what it is, diba? And
Oh.
here we were still doing 1 kilo bag. back then. So 1 kilo bag is like, okay, for anyone, I'm not willing to try 1 kilo of fish that I'm not that familiar with yet. It's not like there was internet back then wherein people can just Google or search for, hey, how to cook salmon or how to cook sea bass. Diba? So then I realized, okay, maybe it was a lot of ideas lang. Parang we said, okay, maybe we make the portions smaller, or maybe we change the cuts. Maybe we should study this. So we were having excuses. Oh, maybe we should go to Hong Kong. Let's check how they're displaying their frozen seafood. So now it became a habit. So it became a habit for us to, just look at the supermarket how it was eh. Kasi all those returns you'll see, sayang eh. These are good products.
Yeah.
It's just that it needs to be presented properly.
And when you do not properly regulate your inventory, your supply, your stock, it ends up in your kitchen, I suppose. I mean, is it just thrown out, given away, or sent as gifts to friends and PR?
No, because that's not allowed, because we are very strict. My dad has always instilled in us, we do not compromise quality. So anything that has our brand on it, we make sure that it's of premium quality. Like even the slightest compromise of quality, color, or what, it's automatically disposed.
Yeah, but if
Kasi
it's
parang
disposed
it's
as
not
in
worth
thrown
it eh.
away?
Yes, no. We're still selling it for 5 to 10 pesos per kilo
Aha, okay.
as fish food, as parang pang for fish meal na siya eh.
Aha.
Can you imagine? 3 to 4,000 per
So
kilo
shell yung
Chilean sea
tilapia,
bass
ano?
being sold for 5 to 10 pesos.
So shell nga yung tilapia. Pinapakain siya ng salmon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Even sea bass or black
Marco,
cod.
let's go for a quick break. When we return, let's now talk about the shift from focus on export to cold storage. What were the challenges? How did you set it up? What's the future? We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, let's continue our conversation with Marco Qua regarding cold storage. Hindi po ito ice plant. Ito po yung cold storage that sells imported marine products. I think they're also into meats, etc. Marco, welcome back.
Hi, thanks, Cito. Yeah, good
Okay.
morning again.
Marco, just for clarification, are you guys specialized only for seafoods, or have you expanded the product lineup?
Before we were just focused on frozen seafood, but for the past maybe 6, 7 years now at this point, we started venturing into beef. So we're bringing in Australian beef, 100% Black Angus. So yeah, we started beef already.
Okay. Where were you before I became a vegetarian? Okay. Anyway,
Wow.
so we were talking at that point where you said, "Hey, we can make this into a real business, not just a sideline." And you were sent to the section of the returns section, and your first discovery was that you were, or the company was not listening or watching what the customers needed. They didn't need 1 kilo bags of salmon or halibut or black cod. They needed smaller portions, correct?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
What
Actually,
else?
aside from that, I was starting to talk to our production staff as well. I said, "Hey, what if we do this?" It's important that we listen to everyone from the organization. It's not just, hey, just because I'm the son of the owner, I should, everything should be followed, whatever I say. So I said, hey, what happens if we do this? If we try to change this? And then it's a nice discussion. It doesn't matter what position you are, you will be heard. So basically, in that sense, they will suggest, because obviously people were not hands-on with the cold storage seafood business back then, because again, it was a small sideline business. So right now, there's someone listening. Hey, over your experiences, what have you noticed? What can we do? What can we change? So in that sense, I learned from them then, and I learned from the customers. So I think the transition became easier and faster then.
What did you learn from the customers? Because you said earlier that some of the customers would even share with you how they cook the salmon, the cod, etc. What other learnings did you get from the customers?
Mainly, it's just that, okay, back then their freezers would be filled with chicken, pork, or beef. And then suddenly you cannot expect them to fill their freezers with 1 kilo or 2 kilo of different types of fish. Diba? So they said, hey, can you do parang, it makes it more affordable then. And hey, I want to try this fish. I've heard my friends, because back then our business grew through word of mouth. Hey, my friend said that you had good Chilean sea bass. I don't want to order this much, then I just want to try. So we started coming up with smaller portions. Diba? I mean, back then we only had 2 stores and we had a lot of freezers. So I said, hey, we don't need to, stock everything in bulk. We just put in more smaller portion sizes. And I guess in that sense, it worked. And proper labeling, the small things, you just have to pay attention to the small details. It actually works. Yeah.
Yeah, but how does that affect your operations, your purchasing, when you're ordering in small volume? Because I don't know, maybe because you have good relationships with your partners as exporters, but most people I've spoken with in the field of marketing, the dilemma has always been, Kuya, when we have to order piecemeal or we have to order in small portions or limited sizes, patay na kami dahil ang overhead cost ng shipping mas mahal pa rin.
Actually, it doesn't affect our suppliers because when ship it to us, it's the whole fish. Eh. What we do is we process it in our factory.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we pack it in our factory. So for example, instead of packing it 1 kilo bag at a time, we do it maybe 500 grams or maybe 1/4 kilo or half kilo instead of the whole 1 kilo bag or 10 kilo boxes nga.
Mm-hmm.
Parang ganun. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Now, were you running it based on orders? Or did you have enough customers now you could actually have a prediction of we need X number of kilos of this kind of fish, this kind of lobster, etc.?
Well, aside from the supermarket and retail wherein we put the cold storage brand, we also supply to a lot of hotels and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So, syempre, hotels and restaurants, they have better projections. It's more consistent. Eh.
Yeah.
So, given that, it's a good mix. We supply to hotels and restaurants at the same time. Whatever the gap is being filled by the retail customers in the supermarkets. Parang ganun.
Okay, that's smart because I'm old school, Marco, so I tend to think in terms of, hey, I'm raising this animal, it's going to go to this business. Okay, parang hog raiser, bebenta mo dun sa matadero or sa palengke, and in your case, I will sell in the market, I will sell to the restaurant, I will sell to my neighbor, I will sell to the barangay. So whatever happens, everything is sold.
Yeah, well, with us naman, it's more of, okay, let's say I order 500 kilos, let's say maybe 10 tons of salmon. Okay, maybe 2 tons goes to the supermarket, and then 8 tons goes to the hotels and restaurants. It depends, eh, diba? But obviously, we need to look for a lot more hotels and restaurants clients. We look for institutional buyers, and then at the same time, the supermarkets, the people always have to eat the money.
Yeah, are you serious? You're ordering by the ton?
Yeah, we have to import them by the tons naman yan usually. So it's usually by container. So it's around, per container, it's around 20 to 25 tons for each type of fish.
And how long is that going to stay in your facilities or will before it's consumed by customers in the market?
As of now, given how mature our market already is, 20 to 25 tons of salmon or any type of fish would be out in maybe a week.
I'm going to have a hard time continuing with this interview. I mean, this is just overwhelming. 1 week, 25 tons of salmon. I mean, you've got to have fish coming out of your ears. Now, how do you make sure, as you pointed out earlier, your father is a stickler for quality control and quality products? Now, I have seen failures even in the big players where they have all the strict rules and then at the retail shop some idiot forgets to plug back the freezer after cleaning it or extended. Okay, I can already see you grimace. Okay, tell us your horror story.
That is where my brother comes in. My brother is also very strict when it comes to quality. He stays at the factory and he makes sure that these things doesn't happen from the production end. But like you said, we don't control when it's already in the supermarket or in the retail front. So I have stories where freezers, like you said, freezers were forgotten to get plugged back in. It was monthly maintenance, and then the maintenance people forgot to plug back the freezer back in, and then the next thing you know is tomorrow morning everything is defrosted. Basically, you have to throw them all out.
Yeah, but that's already on the retailer, right? That's no longer your problem. I mean, I would hate to think that you had
that is a problem.
Why?
Because our deal with most retailers is we do concess. Basically, we rent a space from them. Yes, because I don't want I want us to be able to make sure that whatever supermarket you go to, you can be assured that it's the same price. You don't have to worry that if you go to supermarket A or supermarket B, oh, I want to go to supermarket A because it's cheaper. No, you go to supermarket A and supermarket B, cold storage seafood products will always be the same price. So we
Because
make
it's
sure that we control,
yeah, you control the
yes, we
prices
control what,
because everything is on consignment.
yes, yes, even the ordering, even the quantity, we have to, for every single supermarket, we have to study each supermarket, the market there. Like, for example, if it's a store in the Makati area, in the business district, in the, more, for example, in Tagaytay area, it's different types of customers. So we have to
Mhm.
study all of this together. Yeah.
Okay, how do you go about selecting your retailers? Because I mean, I'm just saying, okay, if I were in your shoes, I would probably say, wala kayong generator, sorry na lang.
Well, actually, it's okay because most retailers, most supermarkets naman, they carry ice cream. So
What?
they probably have, back ice cream.
Okay, okay, that's true.
So 99% of the time they have good power generators. They have good power supply naman. But what's important for me is just to make sure that when people don't look that people treat seafood the same way as they treat ice cream. I'm sure nobody wants to eat ice cream that has been thawed out and then refrozen, right?
Yeah,
So in my case, I don't want seafood to be eaten after it's defrosted and then frozen and then defrosted again.
yes, I remember a similar story of a friend who called me and said, Kuyang, do you want export quality tuna? I said, how much? And he gave me the price by the box and it was dirt cheap. I said, is this stolen? And he said, no, hindi namin nakarga sa barko. We can't, we can't ship it out and we can't keep it in this frozen container for more than a week. So we're just going to sell it everything at a loss. So I had to borrow freezers. Ganun ako katakaw in those days. But anyway, what about importation? Has it improved? Because I remember last year, it must have been a nightmare for you importing stuff. Has things improved?
Actually, the government has been cooperative naman. They've been listening to all parties involved. And then they realize naman that, okay, for example, for salmon or other frozen seafood, as long as we're not producing it naman, it doesn't make sense rin that Filipinos are not able to enjoy salmon or Chilean sea bass or halibut. Diba? It's not like we produce it here. Diba? I get the part where if we have that specific fish here, doesn't make sense that we're importing it because that will directly compete with our local industries, and that's something that we do not want as well, because is
Okay,
to make sure that
Marco.
Filipinos get to have world class frozen seafood.
Mhm. Okay, now, so no problems
So,
on the import
yeah.
side, government side. Everyone's working together. Okay, what's the situation now for your brand, your business? What's the direction? Because I mean, your dad is the first generation. The second generation is the one that continues. The third generation is the one who burns up all the money. Yan ang sabi nila. So, we need to make sure there is a generational turnover to competent people who love the business, di ba?
Mhm. I think in that sense, I think me and my brother, we have this logic wherein the same way that my dad and I would have dinner every day, dinner talks would be about the business. That's basically the same thing that my brother would like to impart to his children. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But in the pipeline, I think what we see is for cold storage seafood, I think we want to expand it to more provinces. Right now, we're available in Cebu and bits of Davao, but we want to make our presence felt even better, especially in Visayas, for example, in Bacolod, Dumaguete, Iloilo, or Jensan. Yeah. So this year alone, I think the potential for these provinces, the demand for frozen seafood, imported frozen seafood, is really, really big. And I feel like we barely scratched the surface when it comes to the province. What Manila is no problem. We already found a formula on how it works. So we're planning to put to use this template to the provinces, and hopefully that we'll be able to serve even more customers in the Visayas and Mindanao area.
Okay, now, in terms of distribution points, outlets, let's talk Metro Manila first. You said there were two. One was in Banawe, the other one was in Green Hills. At the beginning, what is the current setup?
When I started to handle the cold storage seafood business, we had 37 outlets in the supermarkets. Basically, we had 37 we were supplying 37 branches of supermarkets. Right now, we are close to 180 to 190 all over supermarkets in Metro Manila and Cebu. So, hope we can expand that to even more supermarkets in Visayas and Mindanao. Yeah.
Okay, how are you affected by bulk imports, non-branded imports? They just show up in the wet markets or what have you. How are you affected by this? Because I see this even in some supermarkets. You go to the wet section and parang, teka, saan galing yung salmon na yan? Kasi wala naman salmon sa Pilipinas.
Yeah. Actually, for us naman is we put our brand because I hope that people would know that our brand stands for quality. Basically, it's even the things that you can't see, the behind the scenes, those are more important for us. For example, we don't import non-premium grade salmon. You know the difference between regular grade and premium grade salmon?
What?
It's basically the premium grade salmon does not have any scars on the skin. It doesn't matter technically because if you don't eat the skin. But for us is, why are there scars on the skin? The fish must have gone through something that would cause the scars. And maybe those trauma might cause the meat to not be of premium grade. So all these things pack bugbog.
Yeah, in Tagalog, nabubugbog. Pag may mga sugat, may hiwa, may gasgas, ibig sabihin mishandling, the way it was packaged, etc. And evidently the fish, the consistency of the meat is not solid. It can be crumpled or beat up in some areas. Plus, mga kaibigan, if you are wondering about all of this, yung mga bugbog pasa, nagkakaroon din ng blood clot, ganon. So those things can affect the aftertaste. There's an aftertaste to the meat. Kala mo, wala akong alam dyan, ha?
Okay, yun ha.
Okay, go ahead. So
basically yun.
Yeah, so premium grade, etc. But people still stick with you instead of buying cheap because at the end of the day, that's true. Even the presentation, where you get it from, because when you buy salmon kuno and you buy it, it's out in the open air, even in an air-conditioned neighborhood supermarket. Iba na talaga yung lasa.
So basically, the best way is for us lang is, I think people already trust our brand. Like, we've been around for more than 20 plus years. So we already have a good solid following, especially from the older generation. So what we're trying to do right now is explain to the younger generation, hey, this is why your moms or your uncles or your lola or your aunties trust our brand. Kasi for the longest time, whenever I talk to my friends, they would say, ah, yeah, we know your brand. My mom buys from you. Yeah, my aunt buys from you. It's always their moms or their aunts. So for me, there's a reason why they trusted us. And right now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the younger generation knows why the upper generation trusted us. It's
Okay.
because we put a premium on quality talaga. Yeah.
Okay, well, we practically run out of time and there's more to talk, but maybe you can direct our viewers to a website or somewhere where they can pick up on your products.
Sorry, again. Yeah.
What you have a website or a Facebook account that people can go to learn more about cold storage?
Actually, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, but basically all our products are available in most major supermarkets in Metro Manila right now. And we have a branch in Wilson. Our Banawe branch is right now closed because we're renovating it. We are hoping for a relaunch soon. So, yeah, basically our products are very accessible naman.
Okay, well, Marco, thank you very much for your time this morning, and be careful in New York. You know, there's still those Asian issues there, so I wouldn't want you getting mugged there. Thank you for joining us, and
Thank you.
have a good night's rest, Marco, and more power to cold storage. My regards to your father, who obviously raised his sons well. God bless all of you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, that's Marco Qua of Cold Storage. Let's now go to our closing blessing for this week from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 21 to 26. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or the ruin of the wicked. When it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for staying with us this week, and we hope you learned from our guest this morning and are inspired from the lessons you picked up. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News.